Right, let's start. In terms of MCQ, yes, it can come option, but in part two, can be 2 marks question may be compulsory, but the 10 marks question obviously will be a choosing question. So don't worry about that. Right, let's start. So last week we stopped in this question where what you called question number 26, MCQ number 20, sorry, MCQ number 26, and we are supposed to start from the 27th one. Let's start. Which of the below statement is true regarding Pascal programming? Right, so that's the programming language you learn in the grade 11 first lesson, the Pascal programming. The first question, the first statement, interpreter translates a program by reading line by line, and the program needs to be converted into machine code always when it executes. Okay, now when you learn about programming language, first of all, tell me, in most of these programming languages we use, we write all the codes in, or we write all the instructions in simple English. Can the computer directly understand that simple English programs? What do you think? Yes or no? To take your computer, can it understand those programs, or can it understand the instructions you wrote in simple English? No. For the computer to understand, we have to do something. What should we do? Exactly. We have to convert it or else translate it into a different programming language. And what is that programming language we have to translate our code into? Yes, we have to translate our code into machine language. Okay. If you take machine language, what does it contain? Like instead of containing simple English text, instead of that, what does it contain then? Symbols? No. Exactly. If you take this machine language, it contains zeros and ones only, which means binaries. Okay. This is a type of programming language created with using binaries only. So what we do normally is we have to convert our code. Any programming language we write, we have to convert it to machine language. So we learned about something called as high level programming language, then assembly language. There are different types of programming language. But let's leave that aside. To convert this code from what you call machine, any language to machine language, we basically learned in total 3 language translators. Tell me, what is the language translator that is being used to convert from assembly language to machine language? Exactly. We have a what you call language translator called the assembler that converts from assembly programming language to machine language. Okay, that's called the assembler. Apart from assembler, there are 2 other what do you call language translators we learned. Not to convert assembly, to convert other programming languages, we learned 2 more language translators. What are they? Yes, we learned something called as a compiler, and we learned something called as a interpreter. Okay, the main difference between the compiler and interpreter is that if you take the compiler, it will translate the whole program at once. Okay, it will translate the whole program, the whole thing, it will translate at once. But if you take interpreter, it will not translate the whole program at once. Instead, it will translate line by line, line by line, line by line. That is how it will instruction by instruction, instruction by instruction. That is how it will be translating. Okay, that's the main difference between both of them. Now the question here says interpreter translates programming language read like by reading line by line, and the program is to convert into blah 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 blah. So yeah, that's what they have mentioned there. So based on that, tell me, is this first statement true? Yes or no? Yes, the first statement is true because they have mentioned interpreter translates line by line to machine level code. Second one, they have mentioned the compiler translates whole program at once, and the translated program can be executed any number of times. Is that statement correct? Again, yes, that's also correct. It translates the whole program at once. Assembly language is used to translate a program written in assembly language to high level language. No. To translate something from assembly language to high level language, what should we use? Exactly. It's not assembly language, it's called the assembler. Okay. Assembler is only used to translate a program written in assembly language to high level language. So its statement is it is actually wrong. Okay. So the correct statements are X and Y only. Is that clear, all of you? Got it? Nice. Okay. So keep in mind, these are the three types of language translators we have. The reason we have is because computers, they can't directly understand simple English. We have to use them only to translate our code. There's any questions, drop in the chat. I'm going for the next one. Okay. Which of the following respectively shows the correct order of steps in software testing? Right. So when we are testing programs, there are like four tests we do. Look at the four answers A, B, C, D, and tell me which one has the correct order. Which answer has the correct order? A, B, C, or D? Yes, the correct order you can see in the last one. That is, first of all, we do unit testing, and then integration testing, and then system testing, and then acceptance testing. This is the correct order. Okay, so this is something relevant to the SDLC, which is a grade 11 lesson number 2. It's a direct question, nothing complex. The science teacher wants to plan. Teacher plans to plan a. She plans to share a set of research materials with her students via email during the summer break. She also wants to send a copy to the. She's going to send a copy to the head of science department and school principal, so that the students do not see this copy. So they have also mentioned that students should not be able to see that they got these copies. Answer question number 29 and 31 accordingly. Right. Where should the email of the head of science department to be included in the email message? Right. Now they have mentioned that the head of department and school principal, both of them has to get the email. Now tell me, when the head of science department is getting the copy, she's getting a copy, no? When she's getting the copy, he or she is getting the copy, should the students know that she's getting the copy? No. Others should not know that she's getting a copy. So where do you include that? Into CC, BCC, or subject? Exactly. You include them in the BCC section of your email. Always keep in mind the two receivers and CC receivers. Anyone who get the mail will know. Everyone who get the mail will know who are the two people, and everyone who get the email will know who are the CC receivers. But if you take BCC receivers, no one will know. Only the sender will know who all the BCC receivers are. Okay. Only the sender will know who all the BCC receivers are. Others will not know. Keep that in your mind. What is BCC and CC? BCC stands for blind carbon copy. Blind carbon copy. And CC stands for carbon copy. So when you're sending emails, okay, when you're sending emails, you normally mention in the two the main receiver who's going to get the email, right? Apart from mentioning the main receiver, if you want, you can send copies as well. So if you're going to send carbon copy, everyone will know, okay, this is the main receiver and these people have got a copy of the email as well. But if you had in BCC, what will happen is people will not know who and who I sent the email for. They will think only they got the email. I mean, apart from what you called the two and CC, they will think only they got the email. They will not know who else I added for the BCC place. What happens when CC is selected? When CC is selected, the person who is receiving the email, he'll know that he got a copy of the email. Will the BCC people know who are in CC? That's what I said. The people who are coming in 2 and CC, everyone will know. Everyone. The sender, BCC receivers, 2 receivers, everyone will know who are coming in this category. Who are coming in 2 category and who are coming in CC category. Everyone who get the email will know. But if you take BCC, it's the sender only who will know. Can BCC see too? When you mean, but tell me, define me what do you mean by everyone? What does the meaning of everyone means? I think you have to go and ask your English teacher what do you mean by the word everyone. Everyone means everyone. Whoever who gets the email will know that they are receiver. So isn't BCC coming under everyone? Everyone, right? Everyone can see who are the two people, and everyone can see who are the CC people. But BCC people, it's the sender only who will know who all the BCC people are. Clear? But subject, if you put the subject is subject of the email, like topic of the email, that doesn't have any connection to this. Next, where should the email address of the school principal be included? Now, if you tell the school principal, she's also going to get a copy. Should others know that she is getting a copy? No, others should not know. So in that case, again, where should I add her email as well? I should add her email in the exactly. I should add her email in the BCC copy. Imagine I want to send all of your emails, right? If I put your email address in the two place, no, sometimes boys can go and see what the girl's email address are, girls can see what the boy's email is, or you can go and see what's your friend's email address. It's not safe. So what I can do is instead of putting your email in the two, instead of putting your email in CC, I'm going to put each of your emails in BCC. I think I send the email only for you, but the fun fact is I have sent it to multiple people again in BCC. So you will not be able to get other people's email address because others all the 40 students who are there here all are in BCC. So you will not know who are the other BCC people, something like that. A question of email like this came in part 2 today. Sure. Interesting. Yeah, today you all had the ICT exam. Is that how the spam messages are sent? Spam messages are sent in different way. You are coming as a main receiver in spam. What's the difference between 2 and CC? Um, it's the purpose that's differentiating it. Apart from that, you will not. If you look at the email, you will not see any difference in the email. The same message will be shown for both as well. The only difference is when you get the email, you what do you call? You can decide should I ignore this email or should I respond to this email? Normally, emails are not something which you mostly use. Now, if you are take your life, do you all whenever you all use your computers or phones and all, do you all go and check your emails frequently? No, right? You all don't go and check your emails frequently. But if you take people who are like working in offices and all those stuff, so let's say if you take us as well, whenever I open my laptop, the first thing I might open is my WhatsApp, and email. That's the first thing I open when I open my laptop itself. The first three things I do is I open my both. I have two WhatsApps in the laptop. I open both the WhatsApps and I open the email. That's the first thing I every time do, right? So when you take offices and all, in office people who work, they more the 90% of the communications are done using emails. Now, even though they get tons of emails, they have to make a decision: should I reply this email or should I ignore this email? Okay. But I so now if they get an email in an email address, when they're receiving the email address, they can see are they coming under two, and they can see are they coming under CC. So if they come under two, they know okay, I have got it as a mail, I have to respond to it. But if they got the email as CC, now they'll be like, okay, I got it in CC, so I can ignore it. Okay. So mainly this idea is used in this corporate purpose, like in office purpose only. In your day-to-day life, it will not make sense. Got it? Why email? It's so inconvenient. No, email is very, very convenient. For example, let's say your phone got lost. Can you respond to me? If your phone get lost, can you WhatsApp me? Your phone is less charged. Can you WhatsApp me? You're going to a place where your nothing is working. WhatsApp web will not work if your phone gets off. If your phone WhatsApp, if your phone doesn't have a, if your phone there's a connection, WhatsApp maintains with the internet. If your phone gets blocked and there's a specific time period, WhatsApp web will not work. Anyways, what happens is you can access email from any device you want from anywhere in the world, but WhatsApp you can't. To log into WhatsApp, you have to get the code, all those stuffs. So if your phone is lost, halas. Email you can access from anywhere. It's one of the most solid messaging platform. Email is I'm now here. I'm not talking about daily messaging. We don't use email for hi, hello, how are you. No, that for that purpose we never use email. Emails are normally used for corporate purpose, meaning when I want to send you some official messages. To send official messages, email is only one of the most suitable platform. Got it? Email is, you can delete WhatsApp message, you can't delete email. Emails are made for that only. That's the purpose of email. Email just says it. In corporate purpose, you can't go and delete stuffs and all. You go and delete, they'll be like, that's a big case you're doing. You send it, send. Just username, password, you can log in. Okay, good. I mean, right, let's go for the next question. Which features used to include research materials prepared as a PDF file with the email? What is the answer? A, B, C, or D? If you want to attach a PDF to your email, yes, in your email, if you select the attachment option, attachment icon, which looks something like this, it looks something like this. You can go and click on that and you can attach any documents in it. Yes, the answer is in the question. Next, that was easy question. A school is considering adopting a new digital learning platform. The principal is concerned about transitioning smoothly without disrupting the ongoing activities. Which of the following deployment strategies would be best to address the principal concern? So the problem the principal has is basically she wants this transition to happen smoothly. That's the first thing. And it should not disrupt the ongoing activities. Okay, without disrupting the ongoing activity. Now, if you take direct deployment, what will happen is in direct deployment, it will disrupt the ongoing activity. But I mean, it will disrupt the ongoing activities. Let's say currently how you're doing. Currently, let's say in the school now, let's say they're going to have some extra class or something. Currently, what the teacher might do is she might directly WhatsApp you the link, and the link she WhatsApps, you're going to click on that and join the class. Now, instead of sharing WhatsApp links, which is unsafe, which is not safe, the school has thought to, let's say, create a website or something. Now, if they're going to suddenly say, no, hereafter we don't use the WhatsApp group, directly they're going to use only the website. Now, this is not a smooth transition. There is not a smooth transition. It's like a direct transition. So the principal's concern is there has to be a smooth transition and it should not disrupt the ongoing activities. So in that case, tell me, if you want to have a smooth transition, is direct deployment suitable? If you want to have a smooth transition, is direct deployment suitable? For smooth transitions, direct deployment is not suitable because in direct deployment, what we do is we stop using our old system and start using our new system directly in a quick change, right? So because direct deployment is not suitable, you can just cut off the first answer and you can directly cut off the last answer as well because both of them have direct deployment. Now comes the next question. Is phased and pilot important or is phased and parallel more suitable? Okay. Now in phased deployment, what happens is you don't release the application at once. Instead of releasing the application at once, you might break into piece by piece, like version one, version. Now imagine we are going to create WhatsApp. First of all, you might create WhatsApp with only the messaging feature. Then you might add WhatsApp with message plus voice call feature. Then you might have WhatsApp with voice call plus video call. Without releasing all at once, you're going to release it piece by piece. That's a smooth transition. Without putting everything at once, you're going to release piece by piece, piece by piece. So that's a very smooth transition. So both of these answers has phased deployment. Fine. Now comes the next question. Is pilot deployment suitable or parallel deployment suitable? Right? In pilot deployment, what happens is without releasing the program without releasing the application for everyone, you're going to release it only for a group of audience. Imagine something like this. Imagine the school has multiple grades, grade 6, grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, multiple grades. Without releasing the application for all the grades, you're saying, first of all, let's release for grade 6 only. And if it's working with them properly, if there's no issues, then let's release for the remaining grades as well. Now, when you compare this with parallel deployment, in parallel deployment, what happens is you're going to directly start using the new system. Okay, in parallel deployment, you're going to directly start using the new system. If some issues come, quickly you will revert back to the old system. Okay, only when there are issues, you can go back to the old system. Now, based on that, tell me, to have a smooth transition, what do you think is better? Parallel is better or pilot is better to have a smooth transition? Sir, is Rizlan's new paper class link method pilot or parallel? You mean homework class? His homework class is direct. Direct. He's directly he was like, hereafter no SMS. Go and take the link from the homework class. So that's a direct. Exactly. Comparatively, if you see, parallel is more better because let's say you're going to give the grade six teachers the in pilot deployment. Now, let's say for the grade six teachers, suddenly there was an issue in using the new system and they are confused. Now, when they are confused, can they again go back to the old system if they're in pilot? No, they can't. But the same issue, if it had happened in parallel, can they again revert back to the old system? Yes, they can. So comparatively, if you see, the most suitable answer is answer B. Is that clear, all of you? Perfect. If you have any questions, ask. This one, right, Zika? Right. Let's go for the next one. Select the choice in which C, A, B are named in the correct order. Okay, I had fun in this question. Normally, you all will be expecting the answer in A, B, C order. Just to confuse you, I messed up the order saying C, A, B. So first of all, you should identify what C is. What is this C? Is it stop or play or record? Exactly. C is representing record. So obviously, this is the correct answer. Okay, because that's the answer which has C first. Anyways, you can see here A is actually play and B is actually stop. And this is called pause. Yes, Aisha. And then this is called prepone. Sorry, previous. And this is next. Oh God, I have done it in the order. See, that's why telling always read the question properly. See, to have fun, I put C first. Even if you found that C is first itself, what do you call? You will be able to figure out the answer. Good, perfect. So answer is going to be record first, then play, and then you have the stop. Next, which of the following software can be used to create vector graphics? What is the answer? A, B, C, or D? Yes, we use Adobe Illustrator to create vector graphics. What about the remaining stuffs? I thought I did ABC. See, sorry, there was a small network issue. Yeah. So if that's called the vector graphics softwares, and the remaining applications are called what type of softwares? Yes, it's called the raster graphic softwares. Perfect. And again, an easy question. What is a protocol of which the main function is to inform and control messages when there are errors? What is a protocol? Exactly. It is the ICMP protocol. I think I might be able to show you all sometimes. But if you and all the questions, sometimes I might have the a small thing which I reduce in ICM protocol. Let's see, is it working? Loading, 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 loading. Okay. Now, if you all are what do you call using, if you all are like joining Rizlan's class, you all know his website was down today. Okay. So if I like show my phone, you can see I have a bot for that actually. Let me unblur this. So like I have a bot created for that. So what this bot will do is it will go and check what do you call if any website is down. All my websites are down. Like I have created several websites. All these websites down. So basically today Mastermath website was down at sharp 5 7 p.m. or like around 5 between 5 o'clock to 5 7 that time period it has got down. And again at 5:43 it has again resolved the problem. Okay. So how and what do you call yesterday there was a website down, blah blah blah. So how it works is I have a bot that will basically send to the ask the master IT server, so mastermat server, is this website working? Is the website working? Then what will happen is this server will be responding to some like telling is it working or not using some codes. Okay, like there are some codes. We call them as like HTTP codes, 400, 300, 500, blah, blah. Like sometimes you all might come across this very frequently, 404 error, right? So 404 error is where the page is not found, right? So you might be familiar with this error, but apart from that, in this ICM protocol, whenever there is some issues in the website, it will tell you this error. It will give you error code. So using the error code, what we can do is we can identify exactly what the problem is. Full form of ICMP. It's called Internet Control Message Protocol. It's there in your third lesson. Sorry. Yes, third lesson, dude. What's up, Owens? Right. So these are all handled by this ICMP protocol. Next, according to ASCII coding system, if the letter D can be represented using this respective binary number, the letter M can be represented as how they're asking. Okay. Now they have told you letter D can be represented using double one, then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is value. Okay. Now, if you take ASCII coding system, what happens is for every character, they have given a specific value, this specific decimal value as well. Okay. So first of all, what you're going to do is if you figure out the decimal value, it will be easy for you to figure out the value for M, because how it works is, let's say if D is 1, if D is 1, then E is going to be 2, F is going to be 3. That's how these values will keep changing. So if you find D, it's very easy for us to find M as well. So first of all, what we are going to do is let's find what is the decimal value equivalent for D. So if you find it, it's basically 64 plus 32, 64, 65, 66, 76, 86, 96, 97. I just converted the mind. But anyways, but recall if you take letter D, in decimal it's equivalent to 97. Now if D is equal to 97, then E will be equal to A, B, C, D, E. No? Yeah, E will be equal to 98. F will be equal to 99. Likewise, you can find what is M as well. So E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. You have to add 9 more. So that's going to be 106. Okay. M is going to be 106. If D is 97, M will be 106 in decimal. Now, if you want to find the correct answer here, either you can see the options given here are in binary and some of the options they are given in hexadecimal. So if you take 106 in binary, let's see how much it is. Let me do mind calculation. 64 and then 32 kya 64, 65, 66, 76, 86, 96 and I'll get 10 more. So 8, 4, 2, 1. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 36. So answer is double 1, 0, 1, 0, double 1. 0, 1, 0, double 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. I did this calculation in the mind. Okay. I don't expect you all to do in the mind. You all can take it off sheet and do these calculations. And if you're a weak at number conversions, I have a seminar I did on number conversions. If you go to YouTube, tell you all how to do in the mind. Because if you all are not expert in it, if you try doing in the mind, you will mess up. So if you like go to the Master YouTube channel, You can see there is this number conversion, what do you call, seminar, which you can see all the conversions are there in it. Anyways, if you look at the given options, have they given a binary value like this? Now, out of the two binary values, is there any binary values that's matching my exact answer? No, you can see it is not mine. So let's see, have they given the equivalent hexadecimal value? In hexadecimal, this number will be equivalent to 0 1 1 0 1 0 1 1. Sorry, it's basically, yes, this should be 0. The last digit should be 0 because it's 10. No? So if you do it properly, you will have a 1 2 4 8 1 2 4 8 10 6. In hexadecimal, 10 is equal to which letter? Letter A. So the final answer is going to be 6A base 16. Now, is there an answer that has given us 6A base 16? Yes. So this is going to be the final answer. This is how you do these kind of questions, right? So first of all, make sure that you find the answer in decimal. Then only it's easy for you to figure out the next letter, because all these values are in a respective order. So if D is 97, then E will be 98. From there, I found what is the decimal value equivalent to the letter M. And I converted that to binary and see, do we have the answer? We did not have the answer. So I converted hexadecimal and see, did we have the answer? And yes, we had the answer here. That's how I did this question. Is that clear of you? Got the idea? Okay, perfect. If you have any questions, drop in the chat. For the next one. Next, in a data table that contains information of students in a school, the set of data relevant to a student is called. Now, for example, you have a table, and they're saying in this table you have the details of students, it seems. For example, let's say the student's name, is student's contact number, or student's address, some details like that. So you have, for example, let's say there's a student called Amal, you might have his contact number and let's say his address. There's a student called Bimal, you might have his contact number, his address. A student called Chamal, you might have his contact number, his address. Now the question is saying the set of data relevant to a student. So for example, let's say this specific student, this Chamal is right. The details about Chamal, you can call this as what in a table? Is it a record, a field, a query, or a form? Exactly. A row in a table, you normally call it as a record. You normally call it as a record. How do you call these as? Now we have a term here called name, contact, address. We have these column names, right? What do you call them as? Yes, they are called fields. Okay, they are called fields. If you're worrying about what form and query is, form is like you all have used Google form, right? It's basically you can create those kind of forms using a spreadsheet, using a what do you call database app, management system as well. And what happens is you can send this form to people. It'll look like a normal Google form only. And whatever values they click on and submit, like imagine they submit the Google form, these values will get stored inside a data. Okay, you can create something like that in your DBMS as well. And query is actually something we write in order to extract data. Extract means obtain data from the database. So normally, if you take one database, there are different methods you can use. So there is like certain special programming languages as well. There's a programming language called SQL. You will normally learn about this in A levels. Okay. So using this programming language, like you can actually not all the database from database to database it can change, but this is one of the most famous one. What happens is you can go and extract data from the database, something like that. Anyways, so here they're asking about the details related to student. No, that's going to be called as a record. Exactly, all of you got it. Right. There's any questions? Drop in the chat. Huh? Nice, man. Amma is downloading some past papers and each paper is 5 megabytes. If he has downloaded 25 papers, what is the total size equivalent to? Okay, this is like a mathematical question actually. But anyways, they have one paper and one paper is actually 5 MB. So if one paper is 5 MB, then 25 papers would be how many MB? Exactly, that's 125 MB. In the answers, have they given 125 MB as a value? No, they have given kilobytes, bytes, bits, and all those stuffs. Now, first of all, if you are confused on all these units, write all of the units you know in the correct order. Okay, so we have to take the units. We have bits, then we have bytes, then we have kilobytes, then we have megabytes, then we have gigabytes, then we have terabytes, and then we have something called petabytes. This is the correct order. Now, always keep this in your mind. Normally, in a company, let's say your salary is going to increase. You're going to go to top of position. Then will your salary get multiplied or will your salary get divided? The company, it's your salary, you're going to go for a top position. Okay. Just use a common sense and tell me, will it get multiplied or divided? Multiplied means like increasing, right? Obviously, it's going to get multiplied. So always keep in mind, when you're going to go up, you're going to multiply. Okay. When you want to convert from petabyte to terabyte, you multiply by 1024. Again, TB to GB, multiply by 1024. GB to MB, multiply by 1024. Okay. Only when you come to this word called, keep in mind, you're going to multiply by 8. But others all, you're going to multiply by 1024. Keep that in your mind. Similarly, you keep in mind, if in a company you're going down as well, let's say you're going for a position down, they have demoted you, again your salary is going to decrease or it's going to get divided, right? They might tell, okay, they're going to give you only half your salary. So it's getting divided by half your salary, right? So when you're going down, it's like your salary is going to get divided. So everything again you divide. Only when you come across the word called bits, you divide by 8. Others all you divide by 1024. Now, the next closest one for MB is what? The next closest one, is it KB, bytes, or bits? Now, currently we are in MB. We have the value in MB. What is the next closest? Is it KB, bytes, or bits? It is KB. So for me to convert from KB to MB to KB, let's say I want to convert this value to KB, I have to multiply or should I divide? These are all measuring units. You learn this in grade 10 third lesson. These are units we use, like you to measure distance, you use centimeters, meters, kilometers, right? Likewise, to measure data, this is a measuring unit. You learn this in the grade 10 third lesson. Exactly. To go up, you multiply, right? See, I told you to go up, you multiply. So from MB to KB, we now see we're actually going up. So I'm going to multiply this 125 by 1024. Okay. So that is going to give the value in KB, right? Now, if you look at the answers given here, the answer that they have mentioned in KB, is it equal to the answer we have got here? Here they have mentioned 125 KB, but did we get 125 KB here? No, we got 125 into 1024 KB, which means the first answer is wrong. Now we know, okay, first answer is wrong, right? Let's see the remaining answers. Now, what is the next closest from KB? From KB is going to bytes closer or is going to bits closer? Yes. So let's go to, first of all, let's go to bytes then. Now to convert from KB to bytes, what should I do? Yes, when I'm going up, I have to what? Multiply. Multiply by how much? 1024. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this value by 1024. Now this is where comes the question. You can see there are two answers here that has bytes. Both the answers you can see they have given in 2 to the power values. Now this is where you have to be good at maths. You can write 1024 in index form as well. We call it as index form. You can rewrite this 1024 index form as well. 1024 is actually equal to 2 to the power 10. 2 to the power 10 is equal to 1024. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this 1024 with 2 to the power 10 into 2 to the power 10 into 2 to the power 10. Now again use your mathematical knowledge and tell me if the base is equal in a multiplication, if the base is equal, then you can do something for the index. What you can do? Exactly. If the bases are equal, you can add the index, right? So you can rewrite this whole thing as 125 into 2 to the power 20 bytes. Now tell me, do we have an answer like this? Out of the 2 bytes answers, do we have an answer like 125 and 20 to the power 20? Yes. So from that, you can figure out that this is the correct answer. Is that clear, all of you? This is required here. Not much, a bit. This is basic maths. Don't tell me that you don't know all this stuff, sir. Yeah, this is just bit of maths. Anyone have any questions here? A gigabyte of maths. No, this is not a gigabyte of maths. This is a bit of maths. Product. I got a question of this type correct for the first time. How to get really good at this subject? So let me tell you a hint. To be good at ICT, just being good at ICT is not enough. You have to be good at English first. If your English is very bad, getting ICT is a bit difficult. The reason is because I can play around with the whole question if your English is bad. I can change the whole question, same question. I can rewrite, reform the English and make it hard for you. Okay. So English first, you should be able to understand, read the question, understand what they're talking about. Okay. English is very important. Second thing is you will need a bit of maths. A bit. This is a bit. English is a bit more important. Maths is the averagely important thing you have to have. What's the condition known as you know the answer but got wrong? What's the condition known as you know the answer? I don't know. It's like your mind knows the answer, but your what do you call hand your between your mind and brain when the data has been transferred through your nervous system, your nerves got a bit distracted and wrote a wrong answer. Tips for LLICT. Actually, LLICT is very easy. When I used to do LLICT, in my LLs, my marks for my ICT LLs marks like around 97, 98. I have got 100, I think 100, I can't remember. It's like border level. So I used to do maths, physics, and IT. Okay. So my physics marks are like B. 60, 65 is like those like 60s or there, I might get physics in the beginning stage. Okay. But if you take my ICT, it's like 97, 96. It's like in peak. Because ICT is so easy. Like when you compare A levels, other subjects with ICT, it's bloody easy. Using ID terms for science too. Science is very interesting. That's why. Anyways, next. No, for if you do ICT for A levels, you don't get island rank because your stream comes as other streams. You don't get a, you don't get district line. You don't get island ranks if you're doing ICT for A levels. If you want to get district or island ranks, you have to do ICT as a fourth subject, which is unwanted. If you want to, anyways, why are you talking about A levels here? My sister is finding it very hard to ICT. It's very easy, man. Nothing big. It's just that you should know the knowledge, lay basic knowledge. Which part of the hard disk is labeled as Roman number two? Okay, if you look at this hard disk, first of all, tell me what is this Roman number one called as? This is where your data is stored. What do you call this as? You can see it looks like a plate. What do you call this plate as? It's a word that's close to the. It's almost close to the word called plate. It's called the platter. Platter. And when you all go for these big hotels, they keep platter, like buffet. That's the platter. They store the data in your platter. And then the platter is being rotated by one fellow here. Okay. It's what do you call this fellow as? It spins the platter. I gave you a hint as well now. Yes, that's called the spindle, not spinnerman. Yo, sheesh, very bad. It's called spindle. And then there is a fellow you can see having a kuru again, okay, a pointer again, and he only touches this platter with writing data as well as reading data. What do you call this fellow as? Yes, that's called the read write head. You can use read or write. Okay, this whole thing is called the actuator. Actually, this is called the actuator, and that's called the actuator arm. Okay, apart from that, that's the other thing which you should know. So Roman number 3, that's talking about, you can see the read write head. So that's going to be the answer number 3. Why are SSD faster than hard drives? Because the technology used there is different. Sorry. The question is asking about Roman number 2. Sorry. Roman number 2 is basically spindle. So answer is spindle. Question asked about Roman number 2, no? So Roman number 2 is spindle. I should have messed up the order. I could have put Roman number 1 here, Roman number 3 here, and Roman number 2 here. Then you already have messed up that as well. Shit, I made the paper a bit easy. Anyways, if you have any questions, drop in the chat. Let's go for the next one. It's so interesting to make you suffer during the paper, you know. Consider the Boolean expression h equals x dot y plus z. Which statement is true? Make career. I think grade 10 I include this question. Fine. If y is equal to 0, then h is equal to x. If y is equal to 0, then h is equal to x, it seems. H is equal to x. First thing, if you take here, not yet, Zakir. If you take here, you can see they have used an AND gate here, and they are going to use a OR gate here as well, right? So the result of this bracket, you can see there's a bracket, you know. The result of this bracket, will it change with the value of z? The result of the bracket, the whole thing, if you take, will it vary based on the value of z? What do you think? Yes. If z is 0, okay, if z is 0, then this whole brackets will give us 0. If z is 1, this whole bracket will give us 1, right? Now, if the value of z change, you know this whole bracket's value is going to change. Now, based on that, tell me, if this whole bracket's value change, will that affect the value of h? Yes or no? Yes. So if you take h, apart from depending on x, it is also depending on the value this bracket is going to give. Okay. Now, first one they have mentioned, if y is equal to 0, then h is equal to x. Okay. You can't guarantee that. You can't guarantee that. Because why? The value of h, apart from depending on x, it also needs the value of z. Because why? Based on z, this whole bracket's value can be. Is that clear, all of you? So based on that, tell me, is the first statement correct? Nope. The first statement is wrong. Second statement. Let's check about the second statement. In the second statement, they are saying if when x and y are both 1, let's say x is 1, y is 1, h is always 1. Now tell me, if y is equal to 1, okay, will the value of z, again, listen to my question properly, yeah? If the value of y is 1, then tell me, will the value of z change the value of the whole brackets? Does z have the power at the moment to change the value of the brackets? No. If z is 0 or if z is 1, no matter what the value of z become, still this bracket is going to give you 1. The reason is because what? We have an OR gate here. That's the first thing. And in the OR gate, one of the input is giving 1. Right? So because of that, whether z is going to give you 0 or whether z is going to give you 1, it doesn't matter. Why? This whole bracket is still going to give you 1. Right? So this bracket is going to give you 1, and here we have 1. Obviously, you know, as AND gate, if one of the input is 1, other input is also 1, then output will also be 1. Right? So yes, that statement is true. That statement is true. Next one. If you didn't understand, let me know through the chat. Okay. This is logic gate question. If z is 1, then h is 1 regardless of the value of x and y. What do you think about that statement? Is that statement true? Is that statement true? Yes or no? Again, no. I'll prove it for you. Now, they are saying the value of if the z is 1, h is 1 regardless of the value of x and y. Let's say if the value of y is 0, will it change the value the brackets is going to give us? No. Let's say the value of y is 1. Will it change the value of the bracket that's going to give us? Again, no. Whether y is 0 or whether y is 1, in both the situations, still this bracket is going to give us 1. So, does the value of y, is it important in this scenario? If z is 1, does the value of y affects us? No. So, we can ignore this. Now comes the next question. Let's say the bracket is going to give us 1. Fine. Let's say value of x is 0. If the value of x is 0, will it affect the output? Yes. If the value of x is 1, will it change the output again? Yes. If the value of x is 1, output will be 1. If the value of x is 0, output will be 0. Why? We have AND gate here. So based on that, tell me, is the value of x important in our context? Yes. But here, the third point they have mentioned, if z is 1, h is 1 regardless of the value of x and y. No. Y is not a problem for us. We don't care about y. But the value of x is important. Right? So this statement is also wrong. The correct answer is yes, answer B, which says it says only the Roman number 2 is correct. Is that clear, all of you? What the idea? See, this is how easy the MCQs was. See, none of the MCQs is hard. It's just that you have to use your brains. If you use your brains, read the question properly, paper is bloody easy. But actually, I think that your brain has spent too much of power to process these questions. When I'm doing this question, I feel like your brain is a bit power. Anyways, the questions were very easy. You can't tell me it's hard because I have made a paper harder than this last year. So comparatively, all I got is easy paper. When you explain, obviously it's easy. I3 third generation brain we have. You'll have to upgrade the process of your brain. Okay. So with that, the MCQs are over. Before I go for the part two, is there anyone having any questions you'll have to ask from me regarding MCQs? I give it. Snapdragon on my brain. Good. I have M3 chip here. Okay. Before I start the part, I'll give you a time to pray, but wait. Raise your hands, those who did the part two already, the first question of part two. You'll have either done it now or you did it on the exam or wherever. If you'll have done this part two, first question, raise your hands. Let's see how many of you all have done. So you guys get a rough idea. These guys have Intel Atom processor. Okay, only half of you have done. That means others are not coming to my class. Fine, shape. What do you call? I'll give you a time to pray and come. So those who have, or those who are not going to pray, what do you call? You can do this question. I'm going to discuss this at 7:10. That one fellow is lying. Yes, I know. Because he doesn't have Intel processor. Is that what you're going to tell? Okay, at 7:10, I'm going to start discussing the part two. Before that, do this question. Those who haven't done, and others, those who are going to pray, you can go and pray. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. I'll also be going to pray in a while. But yeah, depends on the type, Sharif. I'll quickly go and pray and come. If you have any questions, you can drop in the chat. I'll be checking it as well. Right? It's 7:10. Let's start discussing them. First question. In an automated library system, Ravi returned a book and scanned the book's barcode at the self-return kiosk. Sorry, kiosk. Wait, it's called kiosk. I forgot the spell. How do you get it spelled even? The system updates the book status, and Ravi received a notification on his phone confirming the return. Identify the input, process, and output for this library operation. Right. Always keep in mind when they ask about input, process, and output of a system, they're always talking in the perspective of the system, or in, let's say, a computer's perspective. Right. How do you call the datas, or how do you call the things that we are going to give the computer as? The things you're going to give the computer, what do you call them as? Exactly. We call them as the input. And what do you call the things the computer is going to give us as? Yes, we call that as the output. Apart from this, there are some things the computer might be doing within itself. It will not be giving us, okay? It's going to be doing within itself. What is that going to be called as the? Yes, that's mainly called as a process. Now, if you look at this given context, you can see there's something which we give for the computer. That is, we are going to scan the book's barcode, right? This barcode is a data we are going to give the computer, right? And then what this computer is going to do is it's going to identify what the book is. And there is a task the computer is going to do. If you read this whole context I mentioned, the system is going to what? Update the book status. So this is actually a task the computer is going to do within itself. And once that is done, Ravi is going to get a notification on his phone confirming the return. So you can see this notification is there. This is a response the computer is going to give back for the user. Now, based on that, tell me, how can you identify barcode as? Is it an input? Is it a process? Or is it an output? Yes, the barcode is actually an input. And then if you take the book status, what is that? Is it an input, process, or output? Update in the book status. It's actually a process. It is not going to tell you the output. It's not going to tell you the what you call book status. It's just going to update in the system. What it is going to give you is basically what? A notification. So what is this? Is it an input, process, or output? Yes, the notification is going to be your output. So if you look at this context, we have only one input, only one process, and only one output. Actually, you're giving only one data for this computer, and you're getting only one data from this computer. And there's only one transaction they have mentioned in the context in terms of process. So to get the marks, you have to mention input is basically the barcode, process is the book status getting updated, and the output is basically the notification which Ravi receives. Exactly, all of you. Can we say processing the barcode as process? Can we say processing the barcode as process? No. That is not given in the context. Even though that happens, that's not given in the context. So you have to always stick into the context as much as possible. Only if the context doesn't have an answer, you can imagine, okay, this is a process that might happen, and you can write. Clear? Okay, perfect. Next. If letter D can be represented by 4, can you repeat what the process is? Process is something that the computer is going to do, okay? And that can be done, even though it's done, it's not going to give it, it's not going to give something to you. It's something that's going to happen within the system, right? Now, if you notice here, the update in the book status is a action the computer is going to do within itself, right? Update in the book status is not something which you do in the computer. No, that is a computer is going to do by its own self, right? After you give the data, it's going to do it, right? It's not going to give you the book status as well. It is going to just going to update it. It's a process, it's a task, or it's an action the system is going to perform on its own and within itself. So that's what you call as a process. Correct? Yes, Sharif. So always keep in mind one thing. If the company is going to take something from you, it's always an input. If the input is going to give something to its output. Instead of taking something and giving something, if it's going to be doing on its own, it's a process. So what's the answer? They're asking you what the input process output is. So you have to mention input is basically the barcode. Process is actually the updated book status. And output is going to be the notification. Clear? Is there any questions? Drop in the chat. Give the next one. If letter D can be represented by 44 base 16, show the word LKR is represented 7 bits. Okay. Should the process always be a present tense verb? It doesn't have to be present tense, but it always 99% of the time it's a verb. Not present tense, not a problem, but the verb is yes. Those words are sufficient? Yes, they are sufficient. Yes, exactly. Because apart from barcode, you're not going to give any as per the given context. Okay. If letter D can be represented by 44 base 16, show the word for LKR. Now, some of you all thought if D is 44, then E is 45, something like that. No. They are mentioned in 44 base 16, not decimal. So first of all, you have to find the decimal number equivalent to this, right? If you do the necessary workings, you will be able to figure out that 44 base 16 is actually equivalent to 16, 32, 64, 68. In decimal, letter D is equivalent to 68. Now you have to be able to figure out if D is 68, then how much is L, how much is K, and how much is R. Okay. So if D is 68, E is going to be 69, F is going to be 70. Likewise, numbers increase and go. So let's find what LKR is. Okay. So D means E, F. Can you remind how to convert it? 44 base 16. Anything if you want to convert a decimal, you multiply by the place values. So that's basically 16 to the power 0 is 1. 16 to the power 1 is 16. You just multiply each digit with its place value and add the values. So 1 times 4 is 4. 16 times 4 is 64. And the value in decimal is going to be equal to 64 plus 4, which is 68. Again, if you are very bad at number conversions, you'll have to refer that recording, which I have in the YouTube in Master IT. So, this one, okay. So if I go here, am I going to the YouTube studio? Let's go to YouTube, search for Master IT, and you will be getting this website. So this page here, you can see the number conversion. This has every conversions in your oral syllabus, right? So now I have the decimal of letter D, that's 68. Now using this data, what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out the remaining answers as well. So if D is 68, then E, F, G, H, I, J, K. K means plus 7. So 16, 70, 75. K is 75. L is 76. K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R plus 6. So that's 82. So once I know the decimal values, I have to convert them to binary. So if I convert 76 to binary, I'll have 64, 65, 66, 76. So I need 12. That's 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. This is the value of 76. 75 is basically 64 and 11. So 11 kya 8, 9, 10, 11. And this is equal to 675. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 82 is equal to 64, 64, 70, 12. 12 plus 6 is 18. 18 can 16, 17, 18. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. How do you do it mentally? I will tell you how I do it mentally. If it doesn't work, forget it. Okay. So basically, what you do is I remember the place values. For example, the place values are 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. The place values get double and go like that. So what I am doing is how can you form the number 82 using this? So to form number 82, I will need 64. So if I take 82 and subtract 64, now I have balance of 8, 18. Now I'll be figuring out how can I form 18 using this. So 16, 17, 18. I put the three ones and I just fill the gaps with zeros. This is how I do it mentally. If you're really wondering how I do it. So it's just, it's complex, but if you understood, you can use it. Can we directly convert 44 to binary and then do? Eh? If you directly convert 44 to binary, how are you going to figure out how much L is, how much is K is, how much R? Because in binary, octal, hexadecimal, these values are not there in a respective manner. In decimal only, it's there in a respective manner, like 75, 76, 77, 78. It's there in a respective manner only in decimal, not in other number conversions. It is actually there in other numbers, but you will mess it up 100% sure. There's a, because in the binary it doesn't go as 1 2 3. No, in binary it goes as one. Then after one you have as 1 0 and then 1 1. This is the order of binary. So you might be thinking what my 1 10 11. It's not 1 10 11. This is 1 1 0 1 1, and then this is 1 2 3 1 2 3 and 4 is equal to this. This is how binary works. So if you're going to like convert to binary, you can't figure out order. It's very hard. Your brain can't process this quickly. Your brain can process only decimal numbers easily. So be in a safe side, convert to decimal. Anyways, so once you convert the respective value, you'll be getting the binary numbers, and you can tell LKR is equal to 1 0 0 1 1 0 0 1 0 0 1 0 1 1 1 0 1 0 0 1 0 base 2. Okay, these 7 bits are representing the value of L, these 7 bits are representing the value of K, and these 7 bits are representing the value of R. Always you have to make sure in ASCII every letter is represented using 7 bits. So L should have 7 bits, K should have 7 bits, R should have 7 bits. If you don't have complete 7 bits, make sure add 0 in front to make sure there are correctly 7 bits. Right? So this is going to be your final answer. Is that clear, all of you? Imagine if they use binary in maths instead of decimal from that period. Actually, you have binary in maths as well, but in grade only in grade 9. Grade 10, 11, you don't have binary in maths. Should we leave a gap for each other? You can write it together. If you want, you can leave a gap, but you can write it together, no issues. I just kept the gap so that you all can see it specifically, but it's your wish. There is no strict rules there. In computers, if you're going to ask me, it's given together. In computers, we don't keep a gap. But writing your answers, you can keep it in any way you want. Right? If there's any questions, drop in the chat. I'm going to go for the next one. So this is the final answer. Next, write down the Boolean expression for the output of X, blah, 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 and then draw the truth table. When A goes to NOT gate, A becomes A dash. So we have A dash up and B down. When A dash and B goes to when A dash and B, when it goes to the OR gate will give you the symbol of plus. So the expression we have is A dash plus B. Again, you can see in the top of the next OR gate, we have A. And for this NOT gate, B is the input. If B is the input, the output is going to be B dash. Again, we have an OR gate here. So OR gate, what happens is in between the input, there's going to be a plus. So it's A plus B dash. The third one we have is AND gate. Always keep in mind, if your input has more than one character. Now you can see for this OR gate, if you see, the input that came from the top is 1A. It has only one character. The input that came from the bottom is B. Only one character is there. Same thing here as well. If you take the input that came from the top, it's A, only one character is present. The input that came from the bottom is B, only one character is present. But if you take the third gate which you have here, the AND gate, the input that's coming from the top is what? A dash plus B. So always keep in mind, when an input has more than one character, use a brackets. So without just writing A dash plus B, I'm going to write A dash plus B in brackets. Okay. So A dash plus B is one bracket. A plus B dash is another bracket. Again, because there are more than one character. A is one character and B is another character. You all know what is characters, right? Characters mean like letters, anything that you can characters. Okay. So A is one character, B is another character, right? So what you can see, A and B is because there's more than one character, I have mentioned brackets. Okay. So And then you decide what is the symbol you're going to use in between the inputs. So a dash plus b is the input that's coming from the top. A plus b dash is the input that's coming from the bottom. Zikano. Okay. And the symbol for the AND gate is going to be the dot. So this is going to be your final answer. A dash plus b dot a plus b dash. Is that clear of you? Always have the habit of finding the result from gate by gate like this and writing in pencil or somewhere like this. Then it's easier for you to figure out the answer quickly. Nothing, there are high chances you might miss up. Now, some of you all, when I was going through the papers, I know you all had stopped with this part only. But if you had read the question properly, they have asked you to write the Boolean expression as well as prepare the truth table, right? So when you prepare the truth table, first of all, you should know what are the inputs we have. We have A as one input, B as another input, and you got to make sure in your truth table you show all the gates output. So there is not gate here. The not gates output I'm going to mention as A dash. There's not gate here. I'm going to mention that output as B dash. And there's an OR gate in the top. Output is A dash plus B. There's an OR gate in the bottom. Output is A plus B dash. And there's an AND gate at last. I can direct write X or I can directly define the value as well. And then you start filling the truth table. Now, if you take this truth table, the first two columns you can see are depicting the inputs I have mentioned. A is one input and B is one input. But if you look at the remaining columns, they are all outputs of 1 gates. Each gate's respective outputs are there in this range. So what you do is you first of all jump to this place where you have the inputs. Okay. It's easy if you can follow this pattern. Go for the right side corner input. Okay. And you start filling the columns in a respective order. There is a trick you can do. You can first of all figure out how many rows we have, and then you can start filling the table, right? To figure out the number of, so we call the number of rows as the different combinations. You can find the different number of combinations using this equation called 2 to the power n, where n is representing the number of inputs. Now tell me, in this circuit, how many inputs do we have? A is one input and B is another input. So total, how many inputs we have? We have only two inputs. So the number of combinations that can be formed is 2 to the power 4, which is 4 combinations can be formed. So you keep in mind there will be 4 rows here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I know that this table is going to have 4 rows. Now it's very easy to fill this table. You start the right side corner input. So right side corner input is B. And just go in this pattern 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1 until the last one. Okay, so just go 0, 1, 0, 1, 0 until the last row. The next column, double it. So here, if you have 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, here 2 zeros, 2 ones, 2 zeros, 2 ones. If there's another input, then double of that 4 zeros, 4 ones, 4 0, 4 ones. If there's another input, 8 0, 8 1, just double, 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 and go it, right? So I have filled here now the inputs 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. The next column, double of that. So 2 zeros, 2 ones, 2 zeros, 2 ones, right? Now you fill the remaining column based on that. A dash means opposite of A. So if A is 0, this is going to be 1. A is 0, this is going to be 1. If A is 1, this is 0. Just the opposite of A. Similarly, B dash is opposite of B. So if B is 0, B dash is 1. If B is 1, B dash is 0. And likewise, we write the opposite. Now, when we are talking about A dash plus B, we are going to take the value we have in this A dash column. We are going to take the value we have in the B column and compare it using the OR gates logic. Okay. So if you know the logic gates properly, you all know logic gates works in such that if any of the input is true, output is true. The first scenario you can see A is 1, B is 0. See, one of the input is 1, so output is going to be 1. Second scenario you can see both the inputs are 1, so output is going to be 1. Third scenario, both the inputs are 0. If both the inputs are 0, tell me based on the logic gates, how based on the OR gate, how it would work. If both the inputs are 0, what will be the output? Yes. If both the inputs are 0, output will also be 0. Last one of the input is 1, other input is 0. Again, we have 1, no? So it's going to be 1. Similarly, if you fill the remaining column, you will have here A dash, A plus B dash, A plus B dash, 1, 0, 1, 1. And X is where you have the one AND gate for these two. That's 1, 0, 0, 1. So if you fill the table properly, this is how you would get it. This is how the truth table would be. Can you explain how you fill the A and B columns? Okay, the first thing what you're going to do is you find the number of rows. We call the rows as number of combinations. See, this is one combination. This is another combination. This is another combination. This is another combination. Okay, first combination where A and B both are 0. Next, second combination 0, 1. These are different combinations. You can find the number of combinations using this equation called 2 to the power n, where n is telling the number of inputs. So if you look at this circuit, you can see here, A is one input, B is another input. So we know how many inputs are there here? Two inputs, right? So that's why I put 2 to the power 2, and that's going to give me the answer as 4. So now I know the table should have 4 rows. That's why I drew the first row, second row, third row, and the fourth row. Then you start filling from the right side corner input. Right. First of all, I told you A and B are the only input. The remaining what I had in pink color is all outputs. So where I went to B and started filling in this 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1 until the last row, you just fill and go. The next column, you double it. Next input is what? A. So if you have 0, 1, 0, 1 here, you double of that is how much? 2 zeros, 2 ones, 2 zeros, 2 ones. You go in that pattern. The next column, you double it. So 4 zeros, 4 ones, something like that. Next column, you double it. 800. You just double, double, double and go for every input you have. Now in our scenario, we have only two inputs now. That's why I mentioned only the 0, 1, 0, 1 and then 2 zeros, 2 ones. Is that clear, Zakir? So this is how the truth table would be. And if you are answered correctly, for the truth table, you will be getting 1 mark. Your truth table is exactly correct. Okay, if your truth table is exactly correct, you'll be getting 1 mark. Actually, I'll show the breakdown. The marks breakdown. If you have your input columns correct, you get half marks. If you've written all the possible combinations like this uniquely, you get half marks. If your output combination is correct, you get half marks. And for the this answer, that x is equal to a plus b, you get 1 mark. This is how your marks is broken down. And if you take for the previous question, final answer will give you half marks. And then what do you call the no, finding this in binary will give you half marks, half marks, half marks. Yes. And putting them together, half mark. This is how the marks is broken down. Do combinations, do we get marks in truth table? Nope. Only for the final answer. You can actually skip it. But I will not recommend you all to skip it. Make sure you do it. Anyways, up to there is all of that clear, all of you? Yes or no? Up to here, I will clear on all the questions we discussed. Yes or no? See, actually, part 2 is very easy. Anyways, the remaining stuff's in part 2 because it's 7:30 now. Discuss next week, next class. But anyone having any questions in this paper before I wind up? Anyone having any doubts or questions I want to clarify? And this is half mark. This is half mark. This is 1 mark. Yeah, corrected mine. Sir, corrected mine. No, I did not correct your papers. Your papers were all corrected by the my mark examiners. So that's why I always say use the correct, because no, I saw majority of you all you'll have broken the order, like without writing 0001, you wrote 01 first and 00 second, and then they had put wrong for that. Your answer is correct, but because it's not precise, somebody would have cut marks. So I have to double check. I did not still do it. I'll do it and I'll let you know. Can you show the last MCQ page? Yes, sure. Actually, if you all can get above 90 in my paper, at least 85 above in this paper, you're a sure shot A. That's the bet I can tell you. Again, 90 without, like, if it's clean 90. So now what the marks you got is there, in that you will get 90 because I will again recorrect your marks. I can see where I can give putty marks and increase your marks. But by writing precise answers, because always keep in mind when a paper is made, they always make a marking scheme as well. Majority of the time, there will be people who are very good at ICT only who marks your paper. But there can be scenarios where people who are average at ICT also can mark your paper. Suppose let's say a person's average at ICT marks your paper and your answer is not precise. Okay, you have written lots of Velvataram. This is Velvataram. If you've written too much of Velvataram, it's very hard for the examiner to give you marks if that person itself doesn't have enough of knowledge. That's why we say always write your answer very neatly, properly, to the point, without any bullshits. Exactly. When will you release the marks? ASAP. I actually gave the marks for those who did the exam. It's just the recorrection marks I have released. So recorrection product. I'll do it ASAP. Don't worry. Anyways, anyone have any questions before I end this? Anything else? Nope. Okay, I'm going to end the meeting. If you have any questions, you can WhatsApp me and get things. Do you have time to do all that? That's the issue I'm having at the moment. As soon as I get time, I'll make sure I do it and finalize stuff. I have time, but I have to dedicate time for that. Instead, I have my time is currently booked for 1 month scenarios. Anyways, that's a different story. I will make sure I recorrect all those stuffs and I'll give you all the update. Okay, I'm going to end the meeting. If you have any questions, you can WhatsApp me and get things sorted. Have a nice day.